Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Azakai here, bringing to you another video for Conqueror's Blade, published by Porus Interactive. This is the update log for August 15th. Um, so, we have our usual maintenance from 8 to 11:30. And just give me 2 seconds, actually. So it goes from 8 to 11:30 for for the APAC servers. 7 to 10 sorry, that's 8 to 11:30 UTC plus 8 on August 15th for those of us on the APAC servers, and it goes from 7 to 10 UTC plus 1 on August 15th for Americas and EU servers. Now, for the compensation, APAC will get 8,000 bronze coins, 400 honor, and 20 unit medals. The EU and Americas will get 8,000 bronze coins, 300 honor, and 15 unit medals. Again, compensating for that extra half hour for the APAC. From then on, everything should be the same. I have skimmed through the thing, but everything else should basically be the same. So, first, we have events. We have the 5th anniversary of Conqueror's Blade, and it should be a sign-in or something. I believe it. So let me just read it. Join in the 5th anniversary of Conqueror's Blade and receive multiple warm-up rewards. With the 5th anniversary of Conqueror's Blade on the horizon, in gratitude to our loyal and new warlords, we have prepared a bunch of warm-up and official activities. Wish all warlords good luck and ever victory in and ever victory in battle. So warm-up event 1, free doctrine removing. So we have a free doctrine event. So during the event, removing doctrines, whichever quality it is, costs no doctrine water. Warlords can try different doctrine sets freely. It goes from 17th of the 8th, so I'm just going to say 17th of August at midnight, UCC plus 8, all the way. Okay, so 2 days. We get 2 days. Um, thanks. It goes from 18th of August. It goes from 17th of August at um, at 0 hours UTC plus 8 to 18th of August uh, midnight UTC plus 8. Warm up event 2, free. Try on of legendary attires. What? Join in siege battles or field battles, and you may get a limited time random legendary attire chest for 12 hours. The chest contains several 12-hour legendary attires, including um, Draconum's Fatalis, the Pike, Angelic Duality, the Longsword, Fiery Akuma, obviously Nodachi, ooh, Embroidered Uniform Officer, and so on. So that's the cool attire. I really like the color scheme of black and gold, but also the face mask is hella lit. You can acquire up to 3 chests a day. The limit will reset at 2400 at midnight every day. Time frame is from 15th of August after maintenance to 22nd of August after before maintenance. So of course the Draconum's Fatalis, Angelic Duality, the Akuma Claw, and of course again, lovely attire, man. Like, it's a bit messy, but it's got a lot of things going for it. Like, it's got such a good sense of style, but it's also got a lot of things that I personally like. I love just the straight up face mask. I love the face mask. I love the hat. The gauntlets are lovely as well. The sword, I don't even know where they got the sword from, but it looks cool. Uh, and again, you got nice, you got nice combination of things. So it's like it's not exactly heavy, it's not exactly light. It's definitely a medium kind of thing. But the best things about it are the gauntlets, the hat, and the face mask for me. I really wish I could get it. Too bad it's like really difficult to get. Warm up event 3. Prior sight on store attire promotions. Ah, NEWG and Porous BM. Please stay tuned for on-store attire discounts event launched after the maintenance on 22nd of August. Okay, so they're telling us that next week there's going to be a special attire event. Probably going to be a bunch of discount coupons, honestly. Warfare Pack Challenge, Warfare Pack Challenge Pack Rotation, NE except Drave, Porous, VM except Khan and HL. Okay, so these are rotating the challenge pack for these servers, except for sorry, except for these servers. Surprisingly, so these are probably the NetEase server, the horror, sorry, the Asia servers, and then the Americas and EU server, which is the only Aegis something. I forget the second one. So it changes the in-store warfare packs Scorpio and Eternals to Wrath of the Nomads, Soldier of Fortune, and Blood of the Empire. Again, Blood of the Empire is my favorite. It's got all really cool units in it. Honestly, I don't like the ASAPs anymore because of the phasing, but like that's a technicality. They're still really cool. I still like the design of all of them, but like again, really wish they didn't do that because it just makes it, again, personal bias here. I don't like not having collision because if I see whole units just smash up against each other, it feels a bit weightless because you're not getting like individual, like I'm already feeling this with like the Silidars as well. Like I probably didn't notice it for a long time, but because since I don't abuse a lot of like the base phasing into it, but if you can cram the Silidars right up against people and then activate their one skill, and they will basically just like chop through, and they'll just like phase through. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. Again, they change all those packs. It goes, so these packs will be around for 2 weeks. It goes from 15th of the 8th after maintenance to 29th of the 8th before maintenance. Now, probably the most important part of the update is the adjustments and optimization. Now, again, I do not believe the PTR period was significant enough, nor was there very much feedback. It's apparent that people did not like the longsword changes. I understand that people don't like the longsword changes, but I'm going to also say that 50% defense increase is ridiculous. There's a lot of problems with a lot of units, and I understand that. Fine, you're just going to make the only good part about longsword weak, but that's the point. There's a lot of things in combination just end up making things just like not work out. If you had one good thing and that just gets knocked down, it feels terrible because because you're underperforming in everything else. So you just had this one thing where it's overperforming, but it's overperforming to such a state that it's just like not fun. 1 second invulnerability on Lancelot's absolutely not fun to play against. It's it's the easiest thing to point out, but it's a combination of things that makes it really irritating. Same with Wu Wei. Um, Massive amounts of damage, CC immunity, CC heals. The combination of things is crazy, but everyone points at the CC, being like, "Oh, yeah, no, get rid of that," and be like, "Trust me, like even if you get rid of the CC, it's not going to change very much." Anyway, on to the balance changes. We have balance adjustment for the longsword and shield. Heaven and Mercy 1. So they re so they reduced the percentage. So let me just read it out. Reduce continuous healing recovery from 500 plus 1.5% of maximum health per second to 500 plus 0.5% of maximum health per second. Reduce defense increase of Pious in the first 3 seconds from 50% to 25%. Reduce defensive increase of following unswerving effect from 20% to 10%. Increase cooldown from 18 seconds to 20 seconds. Is that the ice? I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be the follow-up after Pious, but if this is affecting the other one, that's really weird. Heaven and Mercy 2 reduce the instant health recovery from 1100 plus 6% of maximum health to 1100 plus 4% of maximum health. Reduce continuous healing recovery from 500 plus 1.5% of maximum health per second to 500 plus 0.75% maximum health per second. Reduce defensive increase of pious in the first 3 seconds after the skill is used from 50% to 25%. Reduce defense increase of the following unswearing effect from 20% to 10%. Increase cooldown from 18 seconds to 20 seconds. Mercy of Heaven 3. Reduce instant health recovery from 1100 plus 6% of maximum health to 1100 plus 4% of maximum health. Reduce continuous health recovery from 500 to 1.5% of maximum health per second to 500 plus 1% maximum health per second. Increase the increase the health recovery for allies from 1% of maximum health to 1.5% of maximum health for 10 seconds. Now, Alan states that this is this is um oh, it's not even written. It's not even written properly, but apparently you only get 9 ticks. I'm inclined to believe him since I literally cannot be bothered to even check it out, but he's probably right. So this amount of healing is 1 tick less than what it should be, but regardless, this essentially increases the healing on the allies by 50%. A good increase and probably going to have much wider effects than people realize. Except in the case of just like instantly dying. Reduce defense increase of Pious in the first 3 seconds after the skill is used for from 50% to 25%. Reduce defense increase of following unswerving effect from 20% to 10%. Increase cooldown from 18% to 20%. Now, again, I want to stress this really important. The percentage has been nerfed by 33%. The actual effect of the healing has only been reduced by like 20%. The amount that you're healing has only probably been cut off by 20%. Instead of healing for like instead of healing for like a quarter of your health, probably not even. Probably it was never even a quarter. Um, Probably instead of healing like 20% of your health, you're gonna heal um you're going to heal probably like 16% of your health. That's that's like I mean that's like 40%. What am I doing? Not doing math correctly. Um, it'll be more like 18%. So it'll be like if it was like 20% before, It's much more closer to like 18%. So you're literally either you're shaving off like something like 20 to 33%. It's not that much. It's honestly not even that much. Um, the defense decrease is probably the biggest thing and probably the most important thing. Again, I don't like, I don't even like the short sword iron sight. That's 125% defense increase, and you also have a rune that increases that even further. And it's just like, yeah, I wanna have this like get out of jail free card or buff where it just goes, I literally take no damage. It's 50% on heavy armor as well. Like you can have like 1200 armor, get a 50% increase, and now you have 1800 armor. There are not very many things that have a lot of pen. Most things will only have about 2k pen, and that's in the high range. You have a longsword having 1800 armor for that 3 seconds means that I only do about 10% of damage, which is basically minimum. So take that as you will. Again, it's frustrating. I know it's a nerf on a class that just only survives basically, but it's warranted. Regardless of what you think, it's still warranted. You still have an overperformance. Like combination of just like the 1 second invulnerability as well just makes it super irritating to deal with longswords because they just spam that heal button because even if you choke them, they get 1 second of invulnerability. They spam that heal button. All of a sudden, they're back to 20% of their health and still unkillable. I know people are going to say, "Oh, but all it does is survive." It's just, yeah, but it's not fun to play against a unit that all it does is just survive. You can't have you can't have units that just are impossible to kill or just take too long to kill. You need to be threatening, first of all. You need to have a sense of that danger. If you're literally so tanky to the point that there is no danger, you you're basically not even engaging properly. Like you're God. If you want to be a if you want to be a brick wall, yeah, sure. Like I don't know how to say this, but it's just being like killing too fast is a problem. Killing too slowly is also a problem. When it literally feels like forever in comparison to everything basically instantly dying. If one rotation of my skill, if I have to do more than one rotation of my skill on a hero, that's taking too long. It takes only 5 or 8 seconds to rotate through all of my skills on rotate all of my skills, and then I'm waiting for like 10 seconds for the next set. If it takes longer than 10 seconds to kill you, I'm not gonna even bother. I'm not gonna even bother. Uh, but yeah, take that as you will. The longsword changes have gone through. I do think the healing on allies is a okay thing. If it works, if it worked properly, the actual percentage increase would match up with Glaive's 15%. And again, 15% on Glaive is already such a massive support buff. Pretty insane, really. Regardless, we also now moving on, we have unit balance adjustments. Now, the most surprising thing here is that they did change the amount for Cylindars, but so Cylindar's sideways sweep and Deathstrike reduced damage taken by 40% within 3 seconds and removed control effects instantly. They also increased the attack rate for their duration. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about this. They took off 10%. We didn't get to test we didn't get to test this, but regardless, it's just they have so much damage resistance baked into everything. It's just like I don't feel like this changed very much, but base threshold stuff could cause some other issues, but it doesn't really matter. The amount is already so high that unless you reduce it down to probably about 30%, um, oh, maybe. I mean, the amount of damage resistance in its entirety is already really high. But regardless, it not 50%, but it is 40%. It's still probably going to be really strong. Um, going to almost be impossible to kill with like regular stuff. There's certain things that will bypass all of this resistances, and we're kind of discovering that, but it's hard to know what exactly is happening. Anyway, Um, let me read that out in its full. Sideways sweep and death strike reduce damage taken by 40% within 3 seconds and remove crowd control effects instantly. They also increase the attack rate for their duration. Now, I kind of didn't notice if they attacked faster or not. All I know is that they will only use the special skill. Before, they had a high chance of triggering it again, so they would only attack twice. If you were lucky, a third time. Now, in the current iteration, sorry, in the new iteration, you're probably going to see four. If you're fighting something pretty tanky, you will see four attacks over the 6 seconds. So it takes around about 1.5 seconds for them to launch their attacks. Is it strong? Yes. I don't think it's OP though because there's still things that deal more damage than it. It does hit for targets, and probably base wise, we're probably talking around about, well, this next section increases by 30%, but basically it's around about 3k, which is really surprising because it's just like, oh, you take off 30% from the thing, and it's just like, oh, what? They were only doing like 12, like 2,000. It's surprising sometimes. Increase the damage of Sideways Sweep and Death Strike, including Death Strike released under Get Over Here. So when they mentioned that, Get Over Here allows the Silidars to use Death Strikes under certain conditions. Um, so they increased it by 30%. The damage has been increased by 30%. I don't like the damage increase only being on Sideways Sweep and Death Strike. I do find it okay, the fact that Death Strike is being increased over Get Over Here, but the other thing's just really irritating. So, increased minimum damage rate of Death Strike, including Death Strike released under Get Over Here from 0.1 to 0.2. Um, this is really annoying because the minimum damage threshold has always been theorized to be 10%. Um, in some cases, we've kind of noticed that it might be 5%, but in this case, it is 10%, and it's annoying because we're also discovering that there are some units that actually have a really high minimum damage rate, and the two most notable ones are the Lancelots and the Zweihanders. This is why you'll notice that these two units are extraordinarily effective against something like Iron Reapers. Um, just from the sheer fact they don't their damage is not being reduced by the maximum amount. They're dealing enough damage to these units that should be effectively immune to damage. So regardless of that, you're only dealing around about 3k damage anyway. So even with a 0.2% minimum damage rate, it's only about 600 damage. It's not a lot, but it's still higher than 300. So I'm not sure how to feel about this. I really don't like it when stats like these are kind of hidden or not mentioned often enough to be relevant. But the fact that minimum damage rate is here is also very important because there are units that drop damage to minimum. Iron Reapers is just the classic example, but there are other units that can do this. I don't like the fact that that we're in a basically a mess where there are units that effectively take zero damage, and you need to create a kind of bypass in order to deal with those units. And it's really hard to know which units do this without just testing them because it's not stated anywhere. Now, I do hope I do hope that some of these information still stay relevant or be conveyed in a more transparent manner. Now, the next part is something that's like really hard to notice or kind of like gauge, but um, Deathstrike, including Deathstrike released under Get Over Here, deals extra damage on charging enemies. Now, it's double damage basically. It's to the point where you can actually Deathstrike charging cavalry. You're not gonna win, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Personally, I love it. Um, I don't, I don't see, I don't think it's going to work out very well. But regardless, um, the the extra utility, like they didn't need to add even more utility on Deathstrike. So Deathstrike is right now, outperforming Sideways Sweep massively. Sideways Sweep doesn't have very much like damage wise, it's not actually that good. The You're only outputting approximately 20 or 25-ish extra damage. 25% extra damage. And in the grand scheme of things, with the knockdown from Death Strike and also the higher block break, it's it's not even it's like the sideways sweep needs some love at this point, surprisingly. And they gave sideways sweep a lot of love before with the last update, but yeah. Personally, I think bottom line is going to work out better because dropping the 10% means that the 10% on bottom line is actually going to be even more effective. But at the same time, sideways sweep, death strike, sideways sweep, very strong. Increase the number of enemies each basic attack can hit by one. Again, doubles their damage and basic attack. Really strong. Their skills hit four people. Their basic attack needs to basically hit three people and deal 100% more damage to even be considered to be even close to their skills. So again, basic attack is basically garbage in comparison to their skills. So you're a heavily skill reliant unit that kind of burns all of their has most of their effects in the first 3 seconds of their skill. Great. You're another burst unit. I like to use Silidars as a. I used to just run Silidars with just their cover commander, and it was fine. It was fine. Their damage was like not very high. Still, their abilities were their main thing, but yeah. I think the duration of the abilities makes it okay. I just think that I want I want them to not focus so much of their increases into just so small an area. They should have really just increased their damage by 30% across the board. This way, this way you're just getting a flat performance increase. Ah, moving on, we got Prefecture Pikeman, charge maximum target +1. Could be really strong, could basically just fizzle out. Again, Prefecture Pikeman ends up missing a lot because of hitbox issues. You're probably going to see them still be kind of a bit hit or miss, but this time they're just going to hit so hard now that regular stuff will probably just get minced, while actual units will probably not even care about this change. You never wanted to take a charge for free anyway. Leadership reduction for the Silo Slingers reduced from 100 to 80. Not great. Honestly, I hate the Silo Slingers. At this price point, probably okay. Probably cheap enough to go, oh yeah, if I had two of these, they'd probably be better than like a tier 3. Maybe. Still, I don't like the Silo Slingers being this cheap. If they were going to be this cheap, they should have just made them tanks. Or made them serfs, basically. So drop the damage, increase their health, make them replacement surf that basically does range attacks. Men at Arms increase leadership from 215 to 235, reduce the charging damage to heroes by 50% when covering commander. Again, any of these things, that are required so that people don't die already tells you that the unit is definitely too strong. Heroes heroes should not be the metric. Like units being weak to heroes like these things shouldn't exist. The 70%, on the Wu Wei Mansion Guards shouldn't exist. The weak to heroes on like nearly every single unit from musket to cavalry charge thing shouldn't exist. The fact that it needs to exist means that they're doing something, or it's just really easy to kill heroes, and units should be able to kill heroes. There should be no reason for units not to kill heroes. But the problem is that people can people can concentrate the effective damage of units so well that they'll explode heroes. I mean, Prefecture Pikeman have weak to heroes, and something like Iron Cap Swordsmen don't. Iron Cap Swordsmen basically are designed to kill heroes. Stuff that's going to get hit by multiple of them. Like, I've been killed instantly by like 4 Iron Cap Swordsmen hitting me. Prefecture Pikemen, I'd have to have like 8 of them hit me before I die. Or maybe I'm getting that wrong. Regardless, I don't like the fact that things need to be weak to hero. But I'm glad that Men at Arms are finally getting the nerf, even if it's just economically. Men at Arms is overperforming, and there's just so many things that are weaker than it at the same price point. This is the same as Paladins, and Paladins are still weaker, by the way. I don't know how they're going to rectify fixing units without just stripping stuff out of them. After this maintenance, warlords having logged in during the Alexander season will receive the Men-at-Arms Mastery Reset item via mail. Please log in to claim after maintenance at earliest convenience. Ranked Battle Adjustment. Ranked Battle. As a core gameplay of Conqueror's Blade has always been the arena where many warlords truly shine. Through the qualifiers of the CBL event this time, we've noticed that the sheer joy of combat might be overshadowed by the current rank settlement mechanism. Therefore, taking into account your feedback and drawing inspiration from numerous other rank systems in our game, we are fine-tuning the means of the rank settlement for ranked battles this season. Before, rewards for the ranked battle seasons were based on ranked at the time of settlement. After, rewards for the season will now be based on the highest rank achieved um, during the current ranked battle season. This adjustment this adjustment aims to offer all warlords a more down-to-earth set of combat rules. Under this framework, both rank rewards and the battle experience will receive a certain level of assurance. I'm not entirely sure why this was necessary, except for the fact that there are people that can't get into Martial. Seriously, they've made it so easy to get into Martial. All you need to do is play matches. Most people stop because, again, they don't care. I stop at Captain General or whatever you need to get the rank attire. I don't bother going to Martial only because ranked really doesn't matter. It's a waste of time. You only need to play more matches in order to get top rank. And you don't even have to play that well. sometimes you just stick with the team. Sometimes even the team just carries your ass. You can try to carry the team, but I mean, like, honestly, if the team sets you up for, like, there are just so many ways just to abuse your team. If you have a good team, you you fucking just let them carry you, or you let them set you up. And the setup for you can be like crazy. I've seen many times where I'm just like, oh cool, I'm gonna just do what I need to do, and then all of a sudden someone comes in swinging with a cav, and it's just like I just held off like three guys just for this cav user to just come in, just kill everyone, and just be like, yep, I'm just gonna roll on my day. It's great that he helped me. It's also frustrating that the cav just literally just rolls over three guys that I'm struggling to deal with because I'm running around with Medals trying to defend a point. Um, so NPC entrance adjustments. Warlords can now access the free training camp through the men at arms. Warlords can now access the unit training camp through the building officer. So instead of being their own NPC, they're probably going to be, they're going to replace probably, yeah. So they're just going to replace some of the old existing stuff. So instead of having the old training, kind of like the Men at Arms training thing, you're going to now have the new one, and of course you can train. It's a bit sterile. I don't like the sterile room and stuff. I wish they put a little bit more thought into the atmosphere being put into basically what amounts to a simulator is upsetting. But again, the tools inside of it are great. Reward system. Optimize the process of acquiring rewards from surveys. Alright, the OB system. In the OB mode, observers can now quickly switch positions by clicking on the minimap in the bottom right corner. An overhead view from 20 meters above the ground will be presented. Oh, 20 meters above the ground is not very high. Most observers will probably be around about 50, probably probably 40 to 80 meters up in the air. Um, In the observer mode, some display issues will be such as overlapping icons of heroes and units are resolved. Cool, there's too much clutter as there is. Fixed bug fixes and optimization. Infantry and crossbow infantry will be unable to use the double string and double shot skills in melee mode. I mean, sure. Fix the issue where bringing claymores may cause server lagging. Not sure if that. I'm not sure if I've ever encountered that. Fix the issue where the actual effect of bleed duration increase of Namcans was not matched with its description. Strange. Optimize the projectile trajectory of Siphonari's flame jet and fix the issue where attacking targets too close would cause abnormal attack range. Interesting. I'm gonna have to ask JM for this. I honestly have very little experience with the exact profile of Siphonari's. So, no, that's interesting. Fix the issue where the loading of musket could be interrupted by minor terrain elevations. They're going to put this in again, so hopefully it gets fixed entirely. Fix the issue where heroes might not be able to use skills after artillery takeover. Again, another fix that they tried to do. Let's see if it works. Not that I've ran into, well, I don't try to hop on other people's artillery, and I don't get kicked off of artillery, basically. Fix a potential issue about the selection interface of server line. All right. I've never ran into an issue about that. Fix the abnormal display of text information in the Imperial Restorationist interface. Fix abnormal display of limited time titles in ranked battles. Optimize the displaying logic of task tracking bar. Fix the abnormal display of the interface of the honor shop when opened through clicking item description. Ah, yeah, no, I've kind of run into that. It's just minor hiccups of the UI. All in all, a lot of bug fixes, some cool event things. Again, what we expected from the PTR, minor changes. All good things, technically. I just feel like you're still slow. Unit balance wise, I don't like some of the directions. Like, again, 40% for 3 seconds. Come on, that's ridiculous. You gave Iron Reapers 60% and it resets on skill use. These things are not particularly strong, but these things shouldn't have to be because Citadels used to be a great unit. I used to use them all the time, and power creep made them weak. Now they have to have damage resistance out the ass. Like they have 26% well when they get hit 3 times. They have 20% while they're attacking. They have 40% now when you activate their skills. That's 86% damage resistance, possibly combined. That's crazy. Extra 10% if you go bot line. The 30% increase, fine. You go from you go from like, maybe like 2.5. More like, you do 2,500 damage and get it increased by 30%. It goes to, um, probably like 2,200 damage goes to 3,000 damage, but like, technicalities. You're still hitting 4 targets, and you basically they deal enough damage with their attack now to one-shot someone, and they can one-shot someone 4 times just throughout the duration. So it's pretty strong. Not as strong as other units though. I mean, just just thinking about it is just the fact that units are dishing out enough damage to one-shot each other, and again, I'm not including damage resistance and stuff, but this is a ridiculous amount of damage being outputted. Alrighty, enough of me rambling. Hopefully everyone understands all of the changes that are going to come through. I do think that the devs are working through a lot of things at the same time. A lot of the bug fixes and a lot of the UI changes are more of a welcomed and quality of life things, and we've been asking for a better training ground and stuff. We got a better training ground. It's really great. So that is good. I just hope that we see more balance changes and some more fundamental changes to the methodology of how they change units or buff units or nerf units. I think we really, I think everyone can agree that we really need to go back to the drawing board with a couple of concepts. Push back against feature creep and power creep. Get back to simple. We don't need all of this damage resistance. We don't need all of this damage. We just need to go back to a time where people could understand getting hit, like, not people understand, but like I I can barely understand I can barely understand statistically how each of these units are working right now because they've got so many conditionals for their defenses and um so many so much damage is coming out just by default. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Other than that, have a nice other than that, my name is Deathstke. Have a nice day. Bye for now.